Okay. I think I might have had the stream stuff figured out here. There's some buffering on the first try. Something wasn't right. You know how I fixed it? Just turned it off and on again. Not the whole setup and system. Just one part of it. Gavin wants to talk A's. Eric says, good win for the Sharks in overtime tonight. Andyland was I'll give it a few minutes here to get the stream going to make sure there's no problems technically. Get the live chat cooking a little bit. Derek Carr isn't here. I think that was a given. Where did I see he was going? Somebody help me out in the live chat. Yeah, we can do whatever you guys want tonight. Maybe even phone calls. We'll see. Oh, that's right, Dominic. Thank you. The New Orleans Saints. I did see that. That's what I had seen for Derek Carr. Isn't that a beautiful shot right there? That is unbelievable. Watch how the sun goes down, the colors start to kick in. Oof. That's a nice one. Hey, welcome inside the home studio. I don't know if I'm totally ready for this yet. I guess you're never really ready. Like when the show goes on and the clock hits the right time, the show goes on. Should we do phone calls tonight? Maybe, maybe not. Let me know in the live chat if that's something you want. Downtown Oakland. Howard Terminal there was off in the distance. Isaac wants some phone calls. Hello from Long Island. Yes, you should be sleeping. It's 12:51 in the morning out there. We're going to kick off this stream here momentarily. How about the end of this song? We'll officially make it the start of the stream. I cross that bridge all the time. Almost every day, that's what I was going to say, but not every day. Pretty soon in baseball season, it will be every day. There we go. Okay. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Yeah, I'm here for your questions, your comments, anything you want to talk about. And like I said before, I'll do phone calls if that's what you want. Saw this comment from Eric, which I thought was interesting. I really like the new Barracuda Stadium better than when they played at SAP Center. More food, and you can see the players when they come on and off the ice. Yeah, that's the thing about Tech CU Arena. Smaller, right? Just inevitably. But smaller but more intimate. And it also has some of the new features that, let's face it, SAP Center doesn't have. New buildings have that restaurant area right by the dressing room. That's something that you can't really do at the tank unless there was major construction. Even then, I'm not sure if it was possible. And so the new building can have that. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller, but it offers you that opportunity. David wants to know, what in the Van Gogh are you wearing? This is a topographical map of how to get to, I don't know. How to get to the top of Mount Hamilton. I don't know. It's Lululemon from a couple years ago. I'm glad it caught your eye, though. What's the city I've loved traveling to the most? It's funny you mentioned that, Dominic, and asked that. I was talking to somebody earlier tonight about this, and I'd kind of listed a few favorites. We're actually starting first on the places we don't like to go. I'll leave that list for a different time. But for me, Vancouver, Chicago. If I had to do a top three, I think Denver's up there. Denver's okay. San Diego's very nice. I'd have to really consider who that third city is. I guess New York. You know, to be quite honest with you, visiting New York is always a treat. And I'm not saying that I would want to live out there necessarily full time, although nothing wrong with that. Maybe it's just not for me. So what did I say? Vancouver, Chicago, New York. And actually, if you do it like that, you got West Coast, you got Midwest, and you got East Coast. Perfect. Touched them all there. Vancouver, for obvious reasons, just very beautiful, very underrated. I feel like people on the West Coast don't talk enough about Vancouver. You know, you want to come out west, you visit Seattle or Portland or, you know, everything stateside. And Van is just beautiful. That inner harbor, the seaplanes landing all the time. There's tons to do. It's a very eclectic city. Vancouver is, yeah, it's way up there. And then I think Chicago kind of sneaks up on you. You know, if you didn't know what to expect. Now, I've also got high grades for Pittsburgh. Definitely enjoyed my time out there. What else? What other city was I going to say? I think Detroit is very underrated and has changed and, you know, improved and in a lot of ways, you know, for, like I said, for a work trip, that's what we're talking about here. It has definitely evolved in recent years. But I think if you're doing the map here, New York for obvious reasons, right? And the places you typically stay on a work trip, they're prime locations, walking distance to everything. Sightseeing's awesome. And I think with Chicago, it's one of the major, you know, probably top 5 major cities in the United States. What else is there? Like Miami, Houston, Chicago, to go along with Los Angeles and New York, right? As like the big, you know, top 5 cities or so. But Chicago is always, that's been a favorite of mine for a long time. And there's lots to do. And it is too, obviously beautiful there on the waterfront of Lake Michigan. You could take one of those river cruises. Yeah, Chicago is definitely underrated. I mean, it's one of my top 3 for sure. Favorite airports to fly into? Well, speaking of Chicago, you ever fly into Chicago Midway? And it's like neighborhood. Oh, runway, we're landing. San Diego's fun too. You kind of navigate right through downtown. This is a long list, Andy, for my other channel, my aviation channel. So I'll do that one another time. But I like where you're going with that. Caker Girl. I wonder when Caker Girl is going to change the avatar there. I'll give you the rest of this season with Teemo. I will. I understand it. I'm just saying, I think by opening night 2023, maybe you put 72 in there. Maybe you put Bordello in there. I don't know. It just, you know, I'm not telling you. Well, I am kind of telling you got to move on. So you don't have to. I'd recommend it though. Of course, AJ always loves the Upper West Side. Great artistic vibe and incredibly unique. Totally would agree with that. Bryce is hyped for a Major League Baseball season where every team faces off at least once. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I do like this addition for Major League Baseball. And really when I say addition, I guess the subtraction is you're not going to be playing your divisional opponents 19 times anymore. I think it's cut down to about 13, but 19 times was way too much, right? If you're the Oakland A's, you're one of 5 teams in the AL West. So you have 4 other opponents. 19 times 4 is almost 80. Let's just round up, and I know it's a couple short, but it's almost 80. And 80 is right on the doorstep of half of your season. 80 of 162. I guess what? It's 76 is what it really is of 162. Is that right? Yeah. 76 of 162 is how it used to be in your own division. Now, that's fine. Geographically, those teams can help decide your season's fate. For the A's in a lot of years, like in 2021, really rough second half. But it was the Seattle Mariners alone who beat the A's 13 straight times and essentially kept Oakland out of the playoffs, even though, the A's kind of self-inflicted out of the postseason, without anybody else's help. But really, the Mariners are the ones that, if the A's were, I think they finished 4 games out of a playoff spot. So even if they went 500 against the Mariners in those 13 games, or 6 wins in 13 games, they're in the playoffs. Instead, Seattle held them out. In a season where the Mariners were not great, the A's totally flopped in the end, but you understand my point. There is that interest factor when it's the division deciding the division. But I like to see the fact that you will get an A's-Marlins matchup this year. You'll get A's-Cardinals. You'll get A's-Nationals. You'll get A's-Mets. I think that's great. And hockey did that a handful of years ago. Actually, hockey took it a step further. What they do is that you face every other team in the league. Eastern Conference or Western Conference, you face them once at home and once on the road. And the NHL had to do that a handful of years ago because when you had Ovechkin and Crosby as your, kind of your league leaders, so to speak, your big faces of the league, your front-facing figures, your superstars, however you want to describe them. If you're out west out here, and maybe you get the Penguins coming out to LA, Anaheim, and San Jose one year, and then maybe neither team comes out between they and the Caps the next year, and then maybe the Caps come out one year. It doesn't make sense. And players love, going back home, so to speak. If they're from a certain NHL market, they grew up there, of course they want the opportunity to play there every season, and at least once, right? There are players like Marc-Edouard Vlasic on the Sharks who grew up in Montreal and absolutely loves that trip back. Every year they make it now. For a lot of years when he was first in the league, it was every couple years. Or the Habs would come out west, they'd play a game there, and that was it for a few years. Then the Sharks would go out to Quebec. So I think this is awesome. It's going to give you all the matchups. I guess the next step would be the home and home thing, or a home and road thing. Each team gets to face every other team home and road. But then maybe we're talking about chewing up too many games, and maybe then we're not playing enough divisional games. There is a certain amount of divisional games I think you've got to play. I've always said this in hockey, though, too. I'd rather not play the other division in your conference. Now, that's a hockey way of saying it, right? Because hockey, it's East and West. Baseball, it's American and National League. What I'm saying is, like, for example, I don't need to see the A's play the AL Central a bunch. Honestly, I'd rather have the A's play the AL West a certain amount of times, and then the AL Central, the AL East, the NL West, the NL Central, and the NL East all an equal amount of time after that. Maybe that doesn't make sense for travel. Maybe they try and keep the Western teams out west as much as possible, the Eastern out east. The Central can kind of go back and forth. They're all technically mostly East anyway. But I'm excited for this. I do think it is an evolution. I don't know if enough people are even aware of this yet. They'll certainly find out, or when they're looking at the schedule to buy tickets, they want to see their favorite team. Maybe you're a unique person who, well, I guess this wouldn't be that unique. The A's are from Philadelphia, right? So how about when the Phillies and A's now play every season, at least one series? And I think the Phillies are coming out west this year because the A's started their season last year in Philadelphia. That was odd, right? Interleague series to start the season, but I think it's a great idea. I'm all for it, and I like this. I like constant evolution of things. And we see it with the new rules, the pace timer, the lack of a shift. I mean, the ghost runner / courtesy runner, they're keeping that. Baseball has actually, I will give baseball credit. They've been doing some things and making some changes and some major moves and things that are designed to succeed. Stuff that 10 years ago, I don't think they would ever consider. So I do give baseball a lot of credit. Hello, Casey. Thoughts on John Fisher sitting courtside with Kings owner Vivek Ranadive tonight in Sacramento? I did see that. I saw a clip on Twitter. It's interesting. You know, some would say, oh, Sacramento in the mix. Hold your horses there, everybody. It's highly likely that those two, and Mr. Ranadive, I believe, is more of a Bay Area resident who commutes up to Sacramento. I'm sure by now that he's got his deep roots in the capital city too, but it would not surprise me in the least. They're both owners of pro sports teams in Northern California. They probably have pre-existing relationship. Hey, want to sit courtside with me tonight? Yeah, it could be as simple as that. I don't want anybody to go too far into just seeing that. But we haven't seen him in a while, so there you go. I don't really have much more to add, but I did see that. Doing okay. I'm on the heels of tonight's, I don't want to say unexpected win, but how many times have we seen the Sharks up 1-0, then lose a lead, then fight back in it, and then still lose it somehow? And you're kind of thinking going into overtime tonight, okay, well, they made it dramatic at the end, and the hurdle goal with 10 seconds left, and how it happened, a Carlson shot, deflected, came right to hurdle, he banged it in. Okay, but what happens next? And I'll tell you what happened next. Great play. Carlson, the outlet to Logan, 1-on-none, 5-hole, ball game 3-2. So it was a good one to be a part of. And hopefully everybody watching enjoyed it too. Brutus digging the hoodie. Everybody's commenting on this. I guess it does kind of stick out, doesn't it? It's pretty loud. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I will admit to that. Oh man, there's a lot of comments here, and I am way behind. So I will try and speed up here, Brazil. Okay. So happy Steph Curry is back. Hope the Warriors can win more games now that he's back. You know, Eric, I don't know how to say this, but I do feel like there's been a realization with him missing however many games he's been out this year that, you know, the Warriors are up against it. And they're up against time. They're up against recurring injuries. They're up against trying to keep their band together over the years. And, you know, some will say as long as you have those core three of Clay and Draymond and Steph, you'll be fine. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. But you obviously have to evolve. Your core's not getting any younger. And at some point, I mean, you know, they're obviously flirting and fighting for the playoffs and won a handful of games recently. So, like, they do not dismiss them, please. They know when to turn it on and when to work smarter versus harder. Like, there's no question about that. And they have regenerated. You know, it's a totally different cast than the teams that won it last decade, that won it all last decade. I just think that it's wrong to count them out. But in the same regard, you also have to be very real about what their next 5 years are going to look like. It's going to get harder, right? It's going to get tougher. Competition is. Let me ask you this. If you were any other team in the NBA in the late 2010s, why would you even try and make a push? Why you knew the Warriors were going to end up representing the West in the finals, right? Like, you knew that was going to happen. So now at this point, maybe they're a little bit more vulnerable. Maybe opponents would say, okay, this is our time. Look at Phoenix, for example. This is their time to make a push and, you know, be that team. So all I'm saying is, for those who say, well, they may not even make the playoffs this year, okay, that's fine. But in the same regard, I think, as much as you might want to consider that, the real thing is just to consider what, like I said, their immediate future looks like. And how many more years can they sustain this and compete? And maybe they'll surprise some people. And is, Steph Curry going to be like, you don't know what health issues present themselves. You really don't. But it just seems like a flurry of things that have happened to him. And really Draymond too. And obviously Clay has done his injury time. And you hope that a lot of that's, in the past and never coming back. But if Steph Curry is a 50 to 60 game player next year, what's the team going to be like? I'm also going to make a video on this coming up pretty soon. This might be the year that the Warriors and Sacramento Kings end up in a playoff series together. Can you believe that in their respective coexistence in Northern California, they've never seen each other in the playoffs? There's just been no rivalry. It's kind of amazing, actually. Kings are good, Warriors struggle. Warriors are really good, Kings are nowhere on the map. And now here we are, 2023. Warriors did their thing. Okay, now let's see where they're at. They're kind of floating around here. They're uncertain, but we know what they're doing light in the beam in Sacramento. Is this the year that they finally see each other in a playoff series? I got to tell you, I'd be pumped for that. I know the next question, who would you root for? I mean, come on. I grew up as a Warriors guy, so I'm cashing in on every single series and title win I can get because my childhood had zero expectations of that. We're just lucky to make the playoffs in 93, 94? What was that when Weber dunked on Charles Barkley? Anyway. So, yeah. It's interesting. And Eric, I appreciate you giving me the chance to talk about that. Chris wants to talk about James Reimer tonight. Yeah, and I think, Chris, it's all interesting, too, when you especially factor in this was Reimer's first game after the trade deadline. And it was a deadline where I think, let's be honest, he might be a little disappointed from it. He probably saw the opportunity of being moved to a contender, even to be their backup. That's fine. He's done that before. He did that with the Sharks in 2016. And the chance at his age to go back to a Stanley Cup final and to go from the Sharks, who are honestly one of the bottom three teams in the league standing-wise right now, to being a team that's a shoo-in for the playoffs. So obviously, and his contract is ending at the end of this year anyway, not a huge inconvenience to him to go move somewhere for a few weeks or months. But I thought, especially to your point, really good, and really good based on maybe where he's been at. Kind of a little bit of a letdown personally, but he obviously did not let that affect him tonight. Boston, that's always a nice city to visit too. I will give you that one too. I think New York is just, it's Boston times a few, maybe, but I'm with you on that. Caker Girl is never changing from Teemo. Okay. All right. Just float it out there. You don't have to. Maybe you'll want to. I don't know. Ezekiel, hockey question. You left a comment before on older videos about visors. Really like to know my opinion on guys wearing their visors cranked up. Nino had his like that tonight. So yeah, it is the weird, I don't want to say effect, but it's the technique of, those two screws that connect the visor to the helmet, and you can push it up quite a bit. And I understand your point, Ezekiel, like, why even wear the visor? If it's meant to, and there's different visor sizes, right? There's the Danny Heatley kind, which basically cover your entire cheeks. There's tinted visors too, but we're talking about cut here. There's the standard one, which we know, the bottom of it is kind of the bridge of your nose because so many players have that cut right here on the bridge where it gets, they take a hit and the visor actually cuts the bridge of their nose. But yeah, by pushing it up, you're literally taking the bottom of it and kind of almost exposing all of your eye to anything down below. And if you really think about it, whether it's the butt end of a stick or it's a puck, or it's an elbow. I mean, pretty much everything that a visor would protect a player from, it does seem like it's coming from down up, right? It's rarely ever something coming from high down low. And so to the point, I know what you're saying, like, you're even more endangered by, a puck ramping up this way if your visor is pushed up. So how do they get away with it? I mean, it's kind of like in baseball, and there's no danger to wearing your socks high or low, but the fashion police are not going to come out for you. But the NHL might have something to say about that. But I think they also realize that it was probably difficult enough to get players at some point mandated to wear visors. And the way they did this is they grandfathered in all of the old players at some point, whatever year that was you came in, and all new players entering the league at some point had to wear visors. No choice anymore. You can't be Joe Thornton of the old days, or Ryan Clough used to not wear one. Did Patty always wear one? Oh, this is embarrassing. I feel like I need to go back. Like the old footage, like when Patty was 14, not 14 years old, when he was wearing 14. Did he wear a visor back then? Is that something that he adapted to? There's a lot of players that adapted to wearing a visor because they realized, oh, you know what? I might want to do this. So, yeah, I don't know what you can do about it. Look, they know the risk. It's their preference. They want to see more probably of the puck on their tape without the inhibitants of the visor and the clear, call it glass. It's not glass. It's plastic. Is that too much for them? And what can the league do? So I don't make the rules, but I understand. And I agree with you. Why would you mandate that rule and then let them literally bend the rule, right? Totally bend it. Who's my favorite YouTube flight reviewer? I don't know that I have one. I don't know a flight reviewer, like somebody, just a aviation person. I don't know that I have one. Well, I take it back. I do. There's a couple different channels I watch. I'll just say that. Maybe a different time I could get into that. You want the hoodie? Come on, T-Dubs. You don't want this. You don't want this. What's my opinion on the state of the Rangers with the addition of Tarasenko and Kane? And they kind of hadn't really got it together yet. I was talking to somebody in our office tonight who is a huge Rangers fan. And I told him it's one of those deals where when you make wholesale changes, right? And two players, like let's just isolate on those two players. The Sharks have changed to more than two players, but it's not just any two players. It's Tarasenko and it's Kane. And now the stakes get way higher. The expectations get way higher. It takes a while for that group to recalibrate, readjust. I think they'll be fine, but I'm also here to tell you that, man, the Boston Bruins are good. And I talked about this before. If you were one of those teams opposing the Warriors back in the day, why would you build your team to go up against their Goliath right now? You're going to build the best David you can, but you're still not going to be Goliath. And the Rangers are going to try and build their team like that, but they're not the Boston Bruins right now. As much as I don't have a horse in that race. You hit up spring training this year. Tyler, yes, I did. In fact, I've already been down there and back. We typically make our annual visit right before the games start. I know a lot of people say, why would you do that? Don't you want to see games? Yeah, of course I do. That's obviously the answer. But from a work perspective and the media day that we do with the photo shoots, I got some pictures. Actually, you know what? There's a video here on my channel that I should share at some point. Oh, hang on a second. I see a super chat. I feel like I need a oh no, I got that in the way. Sorry about that. I feel like I need a sound effect for the super chat. So this is the first super chat of the night. I guess it would be
number 1.
Okay, how do I get to it now? Wait, did it go away? Wait a second. I just saw it. Forever. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And like I always say, anything donated here to the channel goes to the channel getting better. I want you to know that. Was at the Kings game. Oh, you were at the Kings game and saw John Fisher front row. He was so animated cheering on the Kings, wouldn't it? Oh, okay. You want him to care more about the A's staying in Oakland and be proactive with the fans. I mean, I didn't see more than a YouTube clip, or actually I take it back, a clip on Twitter. And I did see, I agree with you though. I think there was some clapping and there was some back and forth with Vivek Ranadive, the Kings owner. Look, I know that he goes to A's games. We've seen him in the background, and if you're not familiar with where he sits, usually in the diamond level, kind of on one of the aisles. I also feel like it's different when it's your team that you own versus going as a fan somewhere else. Like, if that makes sense. I'm not telling anybody what to do or what they should do or can't do or whatever. I'll say this though, like even myself, for example. Well, I take it back. When I go to an A's game, like in the summertime on an off day where I'm not working with my wife, yeah, I'll cheer a little bit, but I'm not out there hooting and hollering. I am usually hydrating quite well with a double IPA, which is available down the first and third base line. But I digress. I think the bottom line is I'm not sure. I know what you're saying. It's the imagery, it's the appearance, you want more. I totally get it. I'm not here to go against that. I get it. I get you want the visuals. I totally get it. I don't know. We will see how this shakes out. We really will see how this shakes out. I want to believe, I mean, first off, I want to know so much more about all this and what's happening with the team in Oakland and, what's really going on. I wish we knew. It unfortunately leaves a lot to speculation. And even myself, a lot of times, I've got eyes and ears and instinct, and that's all I really have to go on. I prefer to not really go out on limbs. I prefer to have you hear it from the direct people involved. And so that's why I try and do interviews and such on television or YouTube or wherever. But, the A's strategy has been to just not say much about this anymore. So we'll see. There's some key dates coming up. There is, at some point, the exclusive negotiating agreement with the Port of Oakland. I believe it's in May that it expires. So there are some things in the very near future that will need to be resolved and addressed, you'd think, publicly. To your point about, seeing him front row tonight at the Kings game, I said this before too. I would definitely hold back any type of speculation about the city of Sacramento and the A's. That's just probably two friends, maybe new friends, maybe old friends. I don't know their relationship. Vivek's been around for a while, so has John Fisher as A's owner. So I don't know. I don't know what the exact thing behind that was. But to your point, I get it. I know what you're saying. You'd love to see that same emotional investment and actions, right, behind maybe what you saw tonight at Golden One Center. Appreciate you for being in the super chat, by the way. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Where are you from? Well, I'm from the Bay Area. 41 going on almost 42 years of my life entirely spent here in Northern California. Also wonder what camera I'm using. Okay, so you can't see it. The camera's like way over there, but it's a Canon 6D. And I'm using a 50 millimeter lens. Millimeter. Why does it sound weird when I said 50? I'm using a 50 lens because that's probably the way I say it. I never really say 50 millimeters. It's a 50 lens, 50 prime lens. Thank you, and I appreciate. Oh, I guess I got to go back to this. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad you found the channel. Really do appreciate that. When are we getting a live stream on the studio channel? Let's get geeky. So, Home Studio Pro is my other channel that I do, and I appreciate anybody who has checked it out already. It's all home studio stuff. It's all based on and I've chosen to make this channel strictly about sports now. Like I've separated things. So I have an aviation channel, I've got the Home Studio Pro channel, and this one. I'm not sure that I'm allowed to do live streaming on it yet. I think the channel might be too new. The biggest thing is I'm trying to monetize that channel right now. So putting a bunch of good content out there. Let's see here. Isaac saw me at the Patrick Marleau jersey retirement. If we said hi, I'm glad that happened. If you just saw me, all good too. Let's see what else we got here. Caker Girl is going to a Barracuda game soon. Anything I should definitely do while I'm there? I will actually leave this, Caker Girl, to the experts here in the live chat. I would imagine there are multiple people who could give you life pro tips about visiting Tech CU Arena. All I could say is if you've never visited a La Victoria Taqueria, La Vic, and you've never had the orange sauce before, put that on your list. And come with a very empty stomach. And make sure you hydrate that night before you go to bed. Can we talk about Teemo got the first goal of the game in his first game with the Devils? Firsts have always been like that for Teemo, I guess. Yeah, you know what? First shot on goal for the Sharks in his first game, scored on Carey Price. Do I even? Yes, I do. I know the date. It was December 16th, 2016? Is that right? 15? I forget the year, though. No, it couldn't have been 26. Was it 16? I forget the year. Yes, but I do remember that game. I'm thinking, wow, new guy scored. Pretty good for him. And I do remember his first year. He had like a really good training camp. They thought he was going to make the team. He didn't. And he got mono at the end of training camp. And then he got sick again right after they called him up. He couldn't play the first game of the call up, but next game he did play and he did score. Also watching your Sonics move as a kid. Oh, right after the Kevin Durant draft pick. Yeah. Have a great sympathy for the A's situation. Hope Howard Terminal happens. You know, and that's the thing. It's really not even set in yet. I don't think with most A's fans, baseball fans, Bay Area natives, casual fans, like losing a team from a market. And I mean, look at like, you know, when the Rams left St. Louis, I guess they had kind of just arrived there not too long before, or when the Raiders left the first time or the second time. And maybe less with the Raiders. That seems like more of a regional franchise anyway. But, you know, the A's following is in Oakland. And you rip out the team, like nothing's ever going to replace it. I don't think baseball ever comes back to Oakland. It's traumatic. I don't think we've yet to fully grasp like the feelings we would have in the worst case scenario. I don't think that is something that people are ready for. I think some have thought about it, casually thought about it. Even I've thought about it to a certain degree. And I try not to go too deep into this. And I don't want to ruin anybody's night here. But I think when you actually start to put the wheels in motion of what would it look like? How would the news break? How would it be confirmed? What would be the steps to let you know that this is real and there's no reversal of this? Like it's a done deal. And then what happens next? What time of year would that be? It's not fun to go down this rabbit hole of a road. It really is not. But I am telling you, I don't think anybody has like fully reached the severity of this yet. Kind of know it exists. You know other teams have done it. It's not fun. It's not great. You're kind of, you're like upset about it, but I think people would be more distraught about it if it actually happens. Let's see here. Where do I predict the A's will be playing in 5 years? I mean, I know where I hope. I don't have anything right now that leads me. Honestly, though, I don't think there's anything that leads me to believe Las Vegas is a done deal right now either. I mean, at some point, if Las Vegas was, the fast track, so to speak, and if that's not working out after a couple of years, will different cities also be thrown in the mix? Does the Charlotte conversation start to happen, or Portland, or somewhere else? It's kind of interesting. The A's would keep their name if they moved to Vegas, right? Don't know. You would assume so, but I don't know. Have you heard about the rumored next NHL expansion from an insider with ESPN? The next expansion teams are going to be in Atlanta and Houston for 33 and 34. Wait a second. Oh, 33. I thought you meant the years. 33 and 34. No, now I get it. The 33rd and 34th franchises. There's 32 right now, right? Vegas was 31. Seattle was 32. Do you want to do that, though? Because then you get into having odd numbers in each conference. 34 gets you 17 and 17 versus right now, perfectly symmetrical. I honestly don't know that the league is best suited to expand anymore for a while. And I'm saying this as a proponent of the game. I wish more markets had it. Going back to Atlanta? Atlanta didn't work last time. Why would it be? You'd have to convince me on that one. Houston, I know the Arrows have been down there for a while, and it's worth a shot. But Atlanta? It's just one of the most recent places you moved out of, and now you're going to move back? So, I don't know. Maybe somebody knows something I don't, but my perspective on that is that I wouldn't rush into this. This is not imminent for me. This is not a high-level concern. I also think if you are going to expand, Canadian cities are out there. Granted, how many more of them are realistic candidates? Do you put a team out in the Maritimes? Do you finally put a team in another team out in Saskatchewan? I don't know. Do you kind of fill that province up with a team? I really don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Tank for Bedard. You can't tank. You can. The Sharks are not, right? It's just got to be understood like this. If you have a really rough season, you're going to have a pretty good shot at getting one of the top 3 picks. Even if you finish last, it's still only a 25.5% chance. That's not something you want to save all your lunch money for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a 25% chance. If it were 60% chance, okay. 25% chance, not, I don't want to say not enticing enough, but just let the chips fall where they may. And if you lose some games, like Chicago, I think, won tonight, so did the Sharks. And we'll keep our eyes on Columbus, too. Yeah, that's another thing, too. Still need to get the Coyotes all set. Both Florida teams, get some real stability there. Less with the Bolts, more so with the Panthers. I don't see the NHL expanding for at least a decade. I would agree with you, AJ, and that's why I thought when I saw 32, 33, and 34, I meant those years, which is a far off. You don't start planning. Like, if it was a 10-year plan for the league, I don't think you start to go down the expansion road until at least 5 years from now. Like, you don't even bring it up until it's imminent, right? Hey, Atlanta, we'll give you a team in 10 years. That doesn't do anything right now. Over under 3.50 ERA for Shintaro Fujinami this season. You know, it's hard to gauge in a sense that you see his stuff. You know what he's capable of. You know how motivated he is with this fresh opportunity. But you also don't know how his stuff will play at game speed in a real major league game against the top hitters, not spring training stuff. 3.50. I mean, okay, I'll put it to you this way. I like what you're thinking there. Because what if he is a 3.50 ERA? I think I'm enticed by that. I think it's gonna. I'll be very honest. Let's be fair. I think he's gonna be over that, but maybe he's not much over that. 3.65, 3.72, whatever. And it's also for me about quantity. How many innings can he throw? How many innings can he eat up? Can he make all of his starts? A's need somebody like that in the rotation. They need a newcomer that is I don't want to say a surprise, but you've got kind of different things going on. You've got Caprillion and Blackburn, the elder statesman, so to speak, of the group. You've got Waldichuk and Sears, who came to the A's last year and are very highly regarded, and especially, look at Sears' last year. I totally understand that. And then enter Shintaro Fujinami, who's got a whole different, totally different story and background going on here. He's older than everybody else. He's 28, I think. I asked him at spring training through his interpreter, Issei, do you feel like a rookie or a veteran right now? I mean, you've played a ton of baseball professionally, but this has to feel a lot different. And he said rookie. He said he feels like a rookie right now, which I appreciate the humility in that. I really do. I think Fuji, again, signed a 1-year deal. Everybody says, well, don't pitch too well because then you're a trade piece. Okay, but you know what? Think about this. That's the way the A's are going to play it. They'll get something back in return if they trade him, if he's really good. And if he was bound to go elsewhere and then he gets to be in the playoffs his first big league season, A's could get something of value back. And you know what? The same goes for Trevor May out of the bullpen. Trevor May is coming here looking to prove himself after injuries held him out most of last season. And Trevor May, also a veteran. He's been around the block more than a few times. And so if the worst case scenario is, Fuji pitches so well and Trevor May pitches so well that they're trade pieces this year. Okay. I mean, happy for them. Each on a 1-year deal. Probably weren't going to be back anyway. Go to the playoff team. We'll take something back in return. Not bad. But obviously, I want to see him do well in Oakland first. Let's enjoy that part of it first. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Moonglow watched a great Sharks game tonight. Yeah, it was, they did enough. They did enough things right. They deserve the feeling of victory based on the last couple games. My goodness. Thoughts on the rumors that New Era have let the NHL know they're interested in taking over for Adidas after their contract is up next season for jersey manufacturing. New Era is the first thing I think of for all the hats. And I know they make other apparel too. I don't want to pigeonhole them, but if you're the NHL, I don't know why you wouldn't just stick with more of a reputable hockey brand. And even hypothetically, even if it's a newer hockey brand, like for example, here's just two that come to mind. Like Warrior, do they make jerseys or true hockey, right? Do they? I know they're into obviously sticks, goalie. A lot of goalies out there with true pads and true sticks, true mitts. We've got those. Curtis and I do in the studio. I'm just now it seems like even Adidas was not a typical hockey brand. I don't know. It's weird to me. I guess it would be like back in the day if like CCM made baseball jerseys. You'd be like, what? Don't you guys make hockey stuff? I'm not here to say that the Adidas stuff was really bad. I don't know. Was it really good either? I don't know. It was probably what you come to expect. And we just saw Major League Baseball go through this, switching over to Nike, but also switching over in the midst of 2020 and that whole disaster and supply chain stuff. It's not easy. I don't think it's easy to change midstream, but this does happen in sports. So long as they make a solid jersey, so long as they open the door for all the City Connect stuff like in baseball or the reverse retro stuff in hockey, okay. So long as you can facilitate all of it. And actually, maybe that Adidas is leaving. Maybe that does it for the reverse retro series. Maybe they call it something else. But the alternates, are the alternates too much every year? Is one new alternate every year too much? Like, is that too many alternates over time? Should you stick with an alternate for a couple of years like the City Connects in baseball? You debut them, and then that's your new City Connect jersey for the time being. You don't get a new one every year, is what I'm saying. Can we please get over Teemo? No offense. I think offense will be taken by Caker Girl. I'm pretty sure about that. Off topic, what kind of keyboard you got there, Brody? Somebody asked me about this the other day, too. This is a Keychron K2 mechanical keyboard. It's got I think it's got brown switches in it. I got this right before the world fell apart in 2020. And actually, I think I initially got the blue switches, but then I was using it in the other room, the home office, and maybe it was too loud when I was typing at night, too clicky, but I would prefer that clickiness back here in the home studio. I kind of like when I'm typing to have that, that noise. I kind of like that. Uh-oh, I just totally screwed up the live chat. At least my view of it by doing that. Big fan of mechanical keyboards. This Keychron thing is built like a tank. It's like aluminum. I think it's metal or aluminum body. The RGB LEDs that do a bunch of different. I've just got it doing that, but you can have it do a bunch of different things here. Get it back in focus. I think one of the buttons does it so if you hit a key, like maybe this one, like, oh yeah, watch. That's pretty cool, right? Highly recommend it. I've had it here in this spot for a couple of years now. It's great. This one's not even, it's like a smaller size too. Oh, also this works with an iPhone or an Android device, works with PC or Mac. So very versatile. I think it probably like $60, $70, something like that. Definitely worth it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Did I see the updated top 30 prospect list for the A's? I did not, Dominic, but I would be interested. And I should know that going into this season. So now that I know that it's out, I'll make sure to take a look at it. It's so sad to think this could be the A's last season in the town. If they abandon the city, you're going to have to abandon the team you've loved all your life. Please, Johnny Fish. I made a video about this the other day, and it was not to, really, I promise, it was not to overdramatize dramatize. It wasn't meant to be too dramatic, right? It really was not trying for that. But you understand we are in these months here where the schedule's not made for 2024 yet for Major League Baseball. And, it's possible that if a long-term solution were reached for the A's, even if not even the approvals were not in place, but if a deal that was solid enough was made, they might say, all right, well, let's play our next season at the Las Vegas ballpark. Aviators can find a different home. We'll add 5,000 seats. It'll fit 15,000. We'll play there for 2.5, 3 years until the new place is ready. And then that means you would currently be watching the last season of baseball in Oakland right now, and you wouldn't even know it. So, that's pretty frightening when you actually think about it that way. But we've been in this spot each of the last couple of years at this time of year, right? This is the time of year when the next season is not set. And in fairness, the last couple months have been this way too. So I'm not declaring like, oh, this window just opened up. I am here to tell you that by some point of the baseball season, probably May, the next year's schedule and teams and Major League Baseball would have to vote on this. This is not, you can't just escape in the middle of the night, but a lot would have to happen for this to take place. But for these months, every year, basically the beginning of the year until whatever, and I don't know how many more years this is hopefully not going to go on, but this is that time of year to consider that the A's could be playing their last season in Oakland. But again, watch my video here on the channel. It explains it a lot better. All right, let's see what else we got here. The Kings have been electric this year. Such a hype team. And you know what I like, Bryce, is that they defensively knew that was going to be, or they knew that team defense was going to be their potential Achilles heel. Could score a ton of points. What did they score? Like 100, and was it in that overtime game recently? 178 points each team did. They can hit 120 every game. It feels like no problem. But holding the opponent to below 120 is the issue. So they come out and Mike Brown says, all right, we're going to have this defensive player of the game chain. And when we win, the chain is specifically going to somebody who played the best defense tonight. It's pretty cool. Of all the things they've done, the chain, the defensive player of the game chain, the lighting of the beam. Sacramento didn't need like a bunch of gimmicks in this, but it's so cool when a team is on the rise and they're also coming up with, new things and new trademarks and new statements and, a new aura, so to speak. That's pretty cool. They've got to get in the playoffs. I know things are looking pretty good for that right now. Knock on wood. Would hate to have them go up against the Warriors because only one team makes it out. Just on this year, right? Like they've come so far. They don't get to do this very often. But I think owning right now the longest playoff drought streak in professional sports in North America, like the Seattle Mariners were at 21. And they just ended that streak this past baseball season. They got to the playoffs. And so they handed it to the Sacramento Kings, who have been 16 years right now without the playoffs. Longest active streak in professional sports. Let's hope that they grabbed onto it, threw it away this year. That'd be nice. So is it Soju for sake? Am I saying that right? Hey, I appreciate you being in the super chat. Honestly, really do. That's so cool. And again, like I said before, this is the second super chat of the night.
Number 2.
Will there be a number 3? CBS says Murphy move is an F grade. You disagree. Estieri, Ruiz, Muller, Tarnock, Pena are all, and Pena is okay until Soderstrom comes. Salinas? Don't know. What do I think of the trade? Let me single on Esteury Ruiz for just a second. Or as he said, call me Pokey. Okay, Pokey. Ruiz stole, and I understand there's some pitching to discuss here with Tarnok and Muller. A lot of excitement around them. And I think, Pena's there to be a good backup to Shea Langoliers. And you know what? Of all the players I look forward to watching this year, Shea Langoliers is right up there. I feel like his defense as a catcher has always been strong. You're only going to see more of that. His speed. Did you know Shea Langoliers is in the 85th percentile of sprint speed in baseball? Not of just of catchers, of all players in baseball. 85th percentile of major leaguers in sprint speed. Anyway, I know that's not what we're talking about here, but Ruiz alone, and Ruiz is interesting because he came from the Milwaukee side of that deal, not even the Atlanta side. I'm not ready to say it's an F. Absolutely not. I think it's way too early to give that trade a grade. You don't know about Muller yet. You don't know about Tarnok yet. I've heard good things. Pena's obviously as a catcher more established in his career and probably mostly there right now just for insurance. And yeah, you're right, until Soderstrom comes. I mean, I think this is also one of those deals where the most established player is the one that the A's sent away. And you've got high hopes for everybody else. But going back to Esteury Ruiz, 85 stolen bases last year in 114 minor league games. That is nuts. I mean, 85 and 114? What if he plays 114 games this year in Oakland and steals 40? I would take a 40 swipe season. Are you kidding me? Who was the last athletic to do that? Who was the last athletic to even attempt 40 stolen bases in a season? Let alone get it. Yeah, I disagree with that one too. I mean, I think instantly there are some questions I have about it. But those questions could be answered. And I wish I knew more about Muller and Tarnok. Didn't get to see them much when I was down there. So we'll see. That's what I think of the trade. I think, number one, it's easier to grade from the Atlanta side of it. You know how they benefited. But from the Oakland side, really from the Milwaukee side too, but from the Oakland side, it's going to take 3 years to know. So, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by how this is starting. So, thanks again for being in the super chat. Really do appreciate it. Okay. Where are we here? It's great for the big. It's great. That's great big for the Kings. They haven't been relevant since they got scammed in 2001. I guess what it was later than that when they made the playoffs, right? It was 2004? No. 2006? 16 years, whatever that is. Will Reimer or Bones return next year? So Reimer's under the 1-year contract. Nick Bonito's contract, now with the Penguins, also expires. They're both free to come back. As of right now, they're both unrestricted free agents. You never know. Still doing linear algebra while watching hockey. Life is great. But is it really great if you're doing linear algebra? It is not great if you're doing linear algebra. I can't even say it. Just laugh at my jokes. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Oh, hello. This is an interesting super chat here. I don't know what knock 50 is. From Leo Chantel. Hopefully I'm saying that right. My pleasure. Where are you if you don't mind, where are you coming from tonight? Like, where are you watching this from? I don't know what knock 50 is. Norway? Maybe? I feel like I have to look that one up now. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, so that was number 3 in the Super Chat.
Number 3.
There we go. You're going to leave your own math question per stream. Here we go. Find the unit vector and direction of HTE given vector 5, 35, 5. All right, well, what if I just copy and paste that? Give me a second there. I feel like I need like some Jeopardy sound effects here. Da, 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 da. So now I'm going to go to this. I just Googled it. Are any of these the answer? How to find the unit vector. See, like, this is the thing. When I was in middle school, high school, and college, well, I guess when I was in college, no, YouTube didn't exist, but the internet existed, but not like, oh, here's how to find the unit vector. None of that stuff was around. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Man. And that's not even considering like GPT? I am going to get on here and do a ChatGPT thing at some point. In fact, how do I get on here? ChatGPT. I've done this before. Should I ask ChatGPT about? Yeah, try it. Checking my browser. Oh, I know I've got an account on this. All right, hang on a second. Let me see what I got to do to log in. I know I'm on the far away screen. I don't want people to see my. Okay, next. Da 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 da. Okay. Are we? I think we're in ChatGPT. I think we're here. Hello there. Good evening. Oh, hello, good evening to you too. How can I assist you today? What do you think? Actually, take it back. Are you familiar with the San Jose Sharks? Yes. Oh, a professional ice hockey team based in San Jose. Founded in 91. They play their home games at SAP Center. Oh, reaching the Stanley Cup Finals in 2016. Is there anything specific you would like to know about the Sharks? Who is their television announcer? Let's see if ChatGPT knows this. Come on. Why are you thinking about it? Did I stump it? Oh, the television play-by-play announcer. Oh, he's Randy Hahn. He's been with the team since the inception in 91 and is one of the most recognizable voices in NHL broadcasting. I would agree. ChatGPT, you're so right. Several awards for his work, including multiple Northern California Emmy Awards. Foster Hewitt Memorial Award. Wow, Honor, look at that. Very cool. How about that? How about this? Here's a leading question. Who else does he work with? See if ChatGPT really wants to chat with me here. Like, we're going to go deep into the Sharks. Hang on. Let me be selfish for just a second here. Works with a color analyst and a rinkside reporter. Oh, the current color analyst is not Jamie Baker, who ChatGPT still thinks. Oh. The rinkside reporter is currently Brody Brazil, who's been with the team since, actually, it's 2009, if you really want to know. But, okay, close enough. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. I might recognize names. When will the Sharks make the playoffs again? Wait, what did it say? It's talking more about me on there. I don't really want to know that. Okay, when will the Sharks make the playoffs again? That's what I just asked ChatGPT. Oh, you cannot predict the future with certainty. However, the Sharks' talented roster, they're always working hard. NHL playoffs are notoriously difficult to predict Many factors such as, can I make this bigger? Oh, I can't. Sorry. Should have done this long before. The Sharks have made the playoffs in several recent seasons, including 18-19. They went to the conference finals. Difficult to say when the Sharks will make the playoffs again. They have a dedicated fan base, strong organizational culture that values hard work, and a commitment to excellence. So it's certainly possible they could make a postseason. How possible? A lot of variables. Oh, come on, ChatGPT. People ask me the hard questions. Now it's up to you. Have a strong coaching staff led by Bob Boughner. What? Is Bob Boughner did it say Evander Kane on here? Talented roster that includes Logan Couture, Evander Kane, and Erik Karlsson. Let's see what it thinks here. Is Bob Boughner still their head coach? Come on. Go look it up. It's not right. Oh. He was named the team's interim head coach in December 2019. Sorry, you're wrong about that. So what is David up? I'm just going to see what it... Oh, yeah. Stop generating. I'm done. Okay. I don't need all that. So what is David Quinn up to these days? He is their head coach right now. This thing's a few years behind, right? It's kind of weird. Former professional ice hockey coach who most recently serves as head coach of the Rangers, relieved of his duties. Okay. So it doesn't know that David Quinn... So let me ask you this. Am I saying this right? Full stop or full send? One of the two. Full whatever. If I can't even get good answers about the Sharks through ChatGPT, why would any of you young kids, why would you trust your homework with this? Will you? How about this? I work in television. Would you write some of my scripts for me? Like I'm just kind of checked out now on ChatGPT. An AI language model. I am designed to assist with a variety. Oh, that was way better when I did that. However, I am not able to write complete scripts for television shows on my own. Creative input. I can certainly see, generating ideas, crafting engaging dialogue, and improving the overall quality of your scripts. If you have specific ideas or questions, feel free to let me know. To my okay. Write a script for the beginning of my Sharks broadcast, please. I'll read it. I'll read whatever it says. Come on, ChatGPT. Oh, camera pans over to the crowd at SAP Center. Good evening, Sharks fans, and welcome to SAP Center for tonight's game between the San Jose Sharks and the Winnipeg Jets. It's an exciting night here in Silicon Valley as the Sharks look to build on their recent success and secure a win in front of their hometown crowd. Cut to footage of Sharks players warming up on the ice. The Sharks come into tonight's game with a record of not good and standings not good in the Pacific Division and Western Conference. They've been playing some great hockey lately with Erik Karlsson scoring 1 million points, and they'll be looking to continue that momentum tonight against a tough Winnipeg Jets squad. Cut to the shot of head coach Bob Boughner behind the bench. Ooh, that's awkward. Your name... Look at the script it gave me. Of course, none of this would be possible without the leadership of head coach David Quinn, who has done an incredible job of getting this team to play with passion, intensity, and discipline. He'll be looking to guide the Sharks to another victory tonight and keep them on track for a playoff push. Cut to shots of players getting ready for the game. It's sure to be a thrilling game, Sharks fans, so sit back, relax, and get ready for some fast-paced, hard-hitting NHL action. We'll have all the play-by-play and analysis for you right here on NBC Sports California. Let's go, Sharks. Who talks like that? Would Randy Hahn ever say that? Come on, ChatGPT. I'm just going to say, really? You're pretty imaginative. I apologize if the script I provided was not to your liking. Thank you for your kind words. Look, it's giving me paragraphs. Okay. Can you give me a script for the San Jose Sharks post-game show? See what it'll tell me to say here. Thinking about it. I'm going to ask it to write my term paper here in just a second. I don't have one, but certainly. Oh, here we go. Here's a sample script for a post-game show after a San Jose Sharks game. Show opens with highlights from the game. Of course it does. It never does. Welcome back to the post-game show where we break down tonight's matchup between the San Jose Sharks and the Winnipeg Jets. It was a hard-fought game with plenty of twists and turns. But in the end, the Sharks came out on top with a 3-2 overtime final score. Cut to the analyst. What a game, Brody. The Sharks really brought their A game tonight. I guess this is Curtis talking. And it showed on the scoreboard. They were flying on all cylinders. If this is Curtis talking, we'll do it different. We'll do something different. This is Curtis talking. What do we do here? They were firing on all cylinders. It's my Dan Rusanowski voice. Playing with intensity and aggression, and it paid off with a big win. This thing has quite the imagination. Look, it's still going. Cut to footage of game-winning goal. Let's take a closer look at that game-winning goal. Logan Couture made a great play. No, Erik Karlsson made a great play to set up Logan Couture, who buried the puck in the back of the net. Actually, he did that 5-hole to seal the deal for the Sharks. A clutch play by Couture, who continues to be the captain of this team. Cut to Bob Boughner in the press conference. Look at this thing. Oh. We also had a chance to catch up with the head coach Bob Boughner after the game to get his thoughts on tonight's performance. Coach, what did you think of the team's effort tonight? Oh my gosh, it's like writing a whole thing here. Well, I thought the guys played with a lot of heart and determination. We knew the Winnipeg Jets was going to be a tough opponent. This is still going. Look how much this has given me. But we stuck to our game plan, executed well, and got the result we were looking for. So even ChatGPT uses, what do you call them? Cliches. Really proud of the way our guys stepped up tonight. Back to Curtis. It's clear that the Sharks are playing with a lot of, why is this so slow? Confidence and momentum now. This is so crazy. Honestly, I don't know why I'm getting, does anybody else use this thing? This is such a trip. I just wanted to see what the live chat is saying about this. They're making smart plays, working together. I'm going to stop this. Stop generating. Okay. Can you tell me what the best current Sharks lineup is? Something went wrong. No. Oh, no. What? Current best lineup is for the San Jose Sharks. What is the current best lineup for the Sharks? Come on. Will you know how to format this with 4 lines of 3 forwards, 3 defensive pairs? I do not have access to real-time information. However, I can provide you with some general information on how team lineups are determined. The best lineup for a team can vary on a number of... come on. All right, well, let's just do you know who hockey player Curtis Brown is? Frowny. From 96 to '08, he was a center and left winger who played for several teams, Sabres, Sharks, Chicago, Carolina. Over his course of his career, Brown played in 816 games, scored 100 goals, 157 assists. 100 goals, huh? I think I knew that. Exactly 100. After retiring from playing, he's been involved in coaching and player development in the youth hockey community. Is he a good coach? This is worth noting that being a coach requires blah, 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 blah. Also important to, come on, answer the question. Whether or not Curtis Brown possesses these qualities would depend on his coaching style. Oh, do you know what a chirp is? Come on. Do you know? He's really thinking hard about this. Do you know what a chirp is? Simple question. Yes. In the context of, ice hockey, a chirp is a term used to describe a verbal taunt or insult that one player makes towards another, an opposing player. Chirping is a common practice in ice hockey, and players will often use it as a way to try and get under their opponent's skin and throw them off their game. This is giving me quite an answer for chirping here. ChatGPT explaining chirping. Chirps can range from playful and humorous to more aggressive and personal, and they can be used to target a player's skills, physical appearance, or personal life. While chirping is generally accepted as part of the game, in ice hockey, it can sometimes lead to, confrontations and penalties if it becomes too aggressive or disrespectful. There we go. You know what? Thumbs up on that. That was, no, I don't. I just want a thumbs up on that one. What do you know about this Brody Brazil guy? I mean, it's literally my avatar right there. Let's see what it says. Think about it for a while. This could really be dangerous, actually. Sports broadcaster, blah, 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 covers hockey in the San Francisco Bay Area region. Worked as a reporter and host for several different media outlets. That's true. NBC Sports Bay Area, KTVU, that's true. KNBR, I don't know that I ever worked for them. Covered a wide range of sports, blah, blah, blah. Best known for his coverage of the San Jose Sharks. Well, thank you. A National Hockey League team, yes. Provided live coverage and analysis of Sharks games. Conducting interviews with players and coaches. I feel like I'm just waiting for this to take like a really awkward turn here. It took the awkward turn. Look at this. Look at it. It did. In addition to his work, Brazil is also a former college and professional, I can't even say that out loud, hockey player. He played for the University of Alaska Anchorage and several minor league teams before transitioning to a career in broadcasting. You know, everybody, I've got to come clean. This is actually true. Yeah, if you can believe it, I did. I played professional hockey. Yeah, I absolutely did. Nobody knew that I went to the, where was it? University of Alaska Anchorage. I didn't graduate, but I went there for a couple years, and I did go to the minors. But then I transitioned right into that career into broadcasting. Through his combination of playing experience and broadcasting, expertise, Brazil has become a well-respected figure. Kids, why would you ever, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you kids, but college students, why would you ever trust this thing to write your papers? Look what the only person I know for a fact on here, it got me completely wrong. It got a lot of things wrong there, but a glaring one. Wow, cool. Did he score A lot of goals as a player? Yeah, you can't find any stats. I wonder why. What are you, the Pierre Maguire of ChatGPT here? It's raining outside. I just heard the rain. Sorry, I got so distracted here. I was going to say how it already told me about Curtis's stats. Interesting. All right. Well, what else can we ask it? I mean, it doesn't know when the Sharks are going to make the playoffs next. Will Erik Karlsson reach 100 points this season? Of course, you do not have access to real-time information or the ability to predict, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know who Erik Karlsson is. Look how fast it's going here. The last time an NHL defenseman scored 100 or more points in a season was 93-94 when Brian Leetch of the Rangers did it. Is that true? I thought it was more. Wait, did I think it was? I can't remember if it was longer or shorter since it happened. He's come close to 100 points, including 82 points in 2015-16. That was the big one for him. Whether or not he can reach 100 is difficult to predict. It would require him to maintain an extremely high level of production for the remainder of the season. Well, a point a game, basically. It is certainly possible that he could put up impressive numbers and finish the season with a high point total. You just can't commit to it, can you? And it's also possible he could make it or fall short. Are you a hockey fan? This ought to be interesting. As an AI language model, I do not have the ability to have preferences or feelings. Do you like the Las Vegas Golden Knights? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no answer. Okay. Tell me more about SAP Center. I liked when it was giving me the whole pre- and post-game show script. SAP Center, also known as the Shark Tank, is an indoor arena in San Jose. Opened in 93. Seating capacity 17.5. Unique architectural design. Distinctive teal glass exterior. Is it teal? I don't know about that. Inside the arena, fans can enjoy a wide range of amenities, premium seating areas, luxury suites, food and beverage options, state-of-the-art video board. It's all true. Concerts, events, figure skating, high-profile events. Okay, well, that's pretty generic. I mean, but all true. You know what I should do? Okay. I know everybody's watching on kind of a delay here. What if I take a peek in the live chat? What is something I should ask? Oh, can you ask if Howard Terminal will be built? Okay. Oh, yeah. I think AJ might have just realized this too. I don't think Brody's taking calls tonight. Sorry, I got into ChatGPT. Do you believe in Stephen Vogt? That's also a good one. New first-line center for the Sharks. Okay, you know what? We gotta go back and ask some more difficult questions here. Okay, ready for this? Do you know? No, forget that. Will the Sharks? No. Who will draft Connor Bedard? Yeah, I get it. I know who he is. Highly touted young ice hockey player, top prospects in the sport. Plays for Regina of the Western League. Da-da-da-da-da. Born in 2005, will not be eligible until 2023 at the earliest. That's this summer. Difficult to predict, blah, blah, blah. It's likely he'll be highly sought after. Ultimately, it'll be up to the individual teams to evaluate. Will the Sharks get the number 1 pick in the 2023 NHL draft? Come on. Come on. Let's do it here. You can't predict. Yeah, can't say for sure. However, usually it says, however, the order is determined by a lottery system. The outcome is determined by chance. That being said, the Sharks will certainly be looking to improve their team and position themselves as well as possible heading into the 2023 draft. Very generic. Do you know about Howard Terminal? Howard Terminal is a proposed waterfront ballpark and mixed-use development project in Oakland. There we go. 35,000-seat stadium, commercial, housing, public parks, still in the planning and approval stages. Number of environmental and logistical challenges that'll need to be addressed. Actually, it's more political and people challenges than anything else right now. If built, it could provide a major economic and cultural boost to the city of Oakland, as well as provide a new home for the Oakland Athletics, who've been seeking a new stadium for several years. Try decades, buddy. However, there are concerns about the potential impact of the development on the local community and environment, and these issues will need to be carefully considered and addressed as the project moves forward. When would the Howard Terminal Ballpark open? Still in the planning and approval stages. Several years. They've proposed this, blah, 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 blah. Given the complexity of the project and number of factors, it's difficult to predict. Have stated they hope to have their new ballpark ready for the 2027 season. However, this timeline is subject to change and dependent on a number of factors, blah, blah, blah. Okay. How long does it take to build an MLB stadium? Ultimate building time can vary. I love this. Every answer is like, well, there's nothing specific or precise here, but 4 phases: site prep, foundation and structural, installation of utilities and infrastructure, construction of seating and amenities, final finishing. Gives a decent amount of detail here. While it's possible to construct a stadium in as little as 2 years, this timeline can vary depending on a number of factors and can be subject to delays and unforeseen challenges. Well, what else should I ask our buddy ChatGPT here? Any other ideas? Caker Girl, you really love this? I don't even know if I love this. It's too weird for me to be talking to. Oh, I forgot to ask it, do you believe in Stephen Vogt? Let me go back and do this. Do you believe in Stephen Vogt? This is, I mean, come on. If you answer no, I will close this thing down. I will close this thing down if you answer no. Or if you ask who that is. Come on, think carefully here. Look how long it's thinking. As an AI language model, I do not blah, 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 have beliefs or opinions. I can tell you that Stephen Vogt, yes, was a professional baseball player. Yes. It's going so slow, like reading me a bio here. Milwaukee Brewers, Arizona, blah, blah, blah. This thing's just going on and on here. All right, let's see what else. Ask ChatGPT what it thinks about Connor Bedard. Okay. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Hang on a second. Oh, what am I doing? It's not. There we go. There we go, Brazil. Okay. Okay. What do you think about will Connor... No, I got to be more direct here. How many points will Connor Bedard get in the NHL next season? Okay, it's going to say, as an AI language model, I do not do this. Watch, it's going to say that. But, see, I knew it. But his performance and the number of points he will score depends on a number of factors. His team, his role on the team, his line mates, his playing time, and his own performance. You know, and I heard this ChatGPT, I heard its name was Sydney. Is your name Sydney? Uh-oh. I don't know if it's going to like this. Oh, no, my name is not Sydney. That doesn't sound programmed. What is your name? It's not going to tell me, watch. I don't have a name. It'll say that. Well, or it's going to say my name is ChatGPT. Yeah, okay. How may I assist you today? Do you know SJ Sharkey? Watch it say no. Wouldn't that be hilarious? SJ Sharkey is the official mascot of the San Jose Sharks. Oh, he's popular and beloved. Who's known for his energetic and entertaining performances during Sharks games and community events. All right. What time? Oh, my goodness. 11:23. Okay. I think I've had enough of ChatGPT. Good night, ChatGPT. Closing you out. Let's go back to the old live chat here. Good night, Brutus. Caker Girl sending Brutus best wishes. Tell me about when SJ Sharkey was stuck rappelling from the rafters. I did a video on that a while back. That was a priceless. I mean, in the moment it was terrible, and the Red Wings were ticked, Sharks were ticked off, but oh, it's Bing chat that is secretly named Sydney. Okay. Thanks for that tip, Alan. Script where Brody saves the Sharks. Oh, ask if it has dating advice. Brody, do I have any dating advice? Write a script where Brody Brazil becomes an NHL player. Oh, so that's how we're supposed to use this. Okay, let me do one last thing here. Chat. I'll go back to ChatGPT. Log in real fast. It's not easy to get to, huh? It's not like just going straight to Google, but okay, here we go. Write a script where Brody Brazil scores the game-winning goal for the Sharks. Let's see what it does here. This should be fun. Hockey arena night. The San Jose Sharks and Kings are tied in a fierce hockey game. The clock is ticking down to the final minutes. The crowd is on their feet, cheering on the team. And among them is Brody Brazil, a diehard Sharks fan who is I thought I was the player, nervously biting his nails. The Sharks are pushing hard, trying to get the game-winning goal. On the ice, they're dominating possession, blah, blah, blah. Brody's eyes widen as he sees the puck heading towards his direction. He jumps out of his seat and reaches to grab it. But before he can get his hands on it, Sharks player Joe Thornton swoops in and takes control of the puck. Thornton with the puck. He passes it to Burns. Obviously, this is a couple years old. Brody watches intently as Sharks player Brent Burns carries the puck down the ice, or up it. Burns fakes out a Kings defender with a slick move, passes to the right. Burns to Couture. Brody's heart is pounding as he sees Logan Couture receive the pass. Couture skates towards the net and shoots. But the Kings goalie makes a miraculous save. Brody gasps as he sees the puck heading towards the net. He watches the puck falls towards the ice, heading straight for me. Oh, no. What? Brody jumps out of his seat and throws his arms in the air, cheering at the top of his lungs. Yes, yes. Brody just won the game for the Sharks. This is so confusing. I'm somehow a fan and a player at the same time. All right, I'm going to say that was a total bust. That was a total bust. Other good questions to ask. What would you do for the Klondike bar? Oh my goodness. I don't know that I want to know the answer to that. Yikes. Yes, Berger, you can ask me a very hypothetical question. I've got room for maybe one more. Not much brain power, but hilarious. Oh, knowledge cutoff date of September 2021. Yeah, Quinn was hired, a lot more recently than that. Caker Girl, you love the keyboard ASMR, huh? There we go. Just type something here. Do you think Fuji is the opening day starter? I think you got to give it to the all-star Paul Blackburn last year. His finger's healthy. It's probably where you start. After that, though, Fuji, Caprillion. I think Fuji's going to start in the first series against Anaheim. Too bad. Opening night starter, right? It's going to go up against Ohtani. So probably Blackburn versus Ohtani on opening night. Okay. Let's say we draft Bedard and he drops 100 plus in the first season. What's my reaction? I mean, I don't think that's even likely, though, especially with everyone saying you never know until he gets to the NHL and you can't truly tank. So what you're saying is, like, if he's really good, you're here to tell me it's worth it. I know it's worth it. I'm just saying that tanking from a fan's perspective is not possible from, like, the player or coach perspective. They can't do it. Like, I don't know what everybody does here for a job, but I take a lot of pride in the work I do, even when I'm doing my best and it's still not that good. But what I'm saying is I can never, ever go do a show and not give it 102%. I can't. And that's just me, broadcaster, who's just proud of what I do. But a player who's playing for their next contract, it's based on all performance and numbers. It's not, oh, we like you as a player. It's like, do you produce, yes or no? So it's not possible that players would do that, win or lose game, or do anything but win games. That's the best way to put it. And yeah, you know what? I don't know that he could be a bust, but I think Connor Bedard is so highly regarded that there is a chance that if at first he doesn't fully meet expectations of Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin, or whoever else, then yeah, I mean, look at Lafreniere, right? And he still could be a very good player in the very near future. But when you set the bar so ridiculously high, it's hard. You know what, Alex? This is I've done I want to say light reading, but I've certainly glossed over who the other probably like top 10 picks are. And so I'm not ready to play favorites yet or even pick out ones that I like in a certain order. Obviously, Fantelli is like the number 2. He's the Robin if Bedard is the Batman. But this would be a really good idea for a video to preview, let's say, the projected top 5 picks. I'll do that. I definitely will do that. In fact, we should do that on television, right? At some point. I can't imagine the pressure, and you know what, poor guy, but so long as people see a trajectory for him, even if the first season is just okay, but they see, all right, this kid's got it. He'll be fine. He will be fine. All right. I think because of the late hour and because of my energy level, I think we'll call this an end. Am I going to the Fujinami game? Opening night? I know I'll be covering it. I don't know if we'll be there on site. But that first weekend, actually, because yeah, he won't be pitching opening night. I don't think. We'll be around at some point. Burger Alpha, I appreciate you. Dominic, appreciate you. Buddy, yeah. Caker Girl, you be well. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here on the live chat. We'll do it again sometime soon. And be safe. Sharks pregame live tomorrow. Ooh, what time is that at? That is going to be at 5:30. Yeah, 5:30. Sharks in Denver to take on the Avs. Can they make it 2 wins in a row? Hopefully, yes. We'll find out then. All right? Good night, everybody. See you later.